Hi, it's me, John from Withe Stone. Just wanted to do a quick little video here to talk about some of the instruments that I used in the circle path, because they're not very common. As a matter of fact, I kind of had to come up with them myself. One is this one. I call it a string drum. It's a walnut box. It's got a birch laminate back on it, but the rest is all solid walnut. It's got a curved bridge there in the middle, a bunch of fiddle pegs on one end holding strings down. It's, I call it a string drum, but it actually has a legitimate history, although not quite like this. I have to read this. I never get it right otherwise. This is a version of a psalterium. A psaltery or a psalterium is any stringed instrument that each note has its own string rather than a fretted instrument or a zither family instrument like the guitar, mandolin, banjo, things like that, where you change the length of the string to change the note. So a harp, a hammered dulcimer, even a piano, they're all members of the psaltery or psalterium family. This one came from the 15th century. It's known in the Pyrenees. And in the Basque regions of France, it's called the tun-tun. Elsewhere, it could be known as a tambourin de Gascon. Literary references include the Archbishop of Hitta, who cites them, indicating the instrument was widely used during the Middle Ages and Renaissance, especially in the northern parts of the Iberian Peninsula. Okay, there's the history part of it. They're pretty rare in the rest of the world. Now, traditionally, they're a long box with like 4 to 7 strings, either individual strings or tuned in chords, and held like this in one hand, and used as accompaniments for a tabor pipe. Tabor pipe is a 3-holed flute, which with the right finger patterns you can actually play whole scales on. And the novelty was to play both the pipe and the drum at the same time. So you played the pipe in one hand and you banged on the tabor drum with a single stick on the other side and played your rhythm. This was just a variation. Rather than having a drum, you could actually pound on it and play a chord or just a drone note in the background while you played the flute. There are some literary indications, however, of these being played with 2 sticks, which was the inspiration for me. So instead of having just a single note that you were pounding out, I put the bridge in here and I set it at the 5th point. Now what that means is the string on one side is 5 notes higher than the same note on the other. So you're playing 2/3 of a chord, basically. The note you're missing is the one in the middle, which is the one that determines if that chord is a major key or a minor key. Since it's not here, it doesn't matter. A major, A minor, you'd play the same set of chords. So it makes a very simple way to accompany another instrument or a voice. The way it's laid out is whatever string you're starting with, the one in the middle is the key you're playing in. The ones on either side of that string are the 2 strings you need for that key. Okay, if I started here, so a very simple repeating pattern. It was inspired by the hammered dulcimer, which middle bridge is also tuned in 5ths. So it's kind of the same concept. Being a hammered dulcimer player, I'm playing it with hammered dulcimer hammers. You could really use anything, but I gave it a curved bridge because I figured it'd be possible to also use this. This is a double bow. These are usually made for bowed psalteries, so you could play thirds going down one side of the instrument. But for here, I figured this would work great going just across the bridge, so you could play both sides at once. Makes a wonderful little A lovely cello-like accompaniment without actually having to own or learn a cello, which is not an easy instrument. So anyway, that's my string drum. I'm sure I'm not the first person in the world to ever think of this, but this came out of my head. So there you go. Well, thanks for stopping by. Please come back again and see us. I'll be talking about some more instruments. Thanks. Bye-bye.